If I'm a homeowner in there now, at this point, some 10 years later, do something.
Yeah.
Because right now it's awful. It's
Right.
just burnt out open space and looks
Yeah.
awful.
This is Las Vegas Real Estate Now with local real estate expert Harvey Blankfeld.
Let's talk about Badlands because the city council just approved just recently this, and I think it's because of the new mayor. The mayor made this one of her campaign promises was to resolve this thing. And as of this date, the 18th, just today, Jessica Hill wrote in the RJ that the Badlands settlement agreement okayed by the Las Vegas City Council, and they approved it unanimously. Where before they had a couple of people who were against it. Now apparently they're all for it. And basically what this is, for those of you who don't recall, Badlands was a public golf course sitting right by Queensridge that was basically bought by developers with the idea they were going to build houses on it. But there was a fight from the existing association and homeowners that didn't want that. And so this fight got drawn out. The problem I always had with it, Matt, I don't know how you feel about this. My problem I always had with it was this. You have a golf course there. I love playing Badlands, by the way. I played it a bunch of times. But they were losing money. Mm-hmm. And you're basically telling the owner of that golf course or the people who bought it, they have to run a golf course that loses money.
Yeah.
And it's just a problem for me. So they came up with a plan to build houses. And the people who live around it, who had a view, are upset.
Yeah.
Understandably so. Mm-hmm. I do understand that. But there's never a promise of view. That's when it's in everyone's contracts.
Right.
So they finally came to a resolution. Apparently what's going to happen is Lennar is going to build like 1,500 some homes in there or something like that. So what's your thoughts?
Well, I mean, you hear these theoretical sayings in real estate like location, 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 and there's obviously there's always a lot disclosure or vacant land disclosure, and there's always a required disclosure if there is any open space or land next to a lot.
Yeah.
Things could happen like this. There's risk to it's risk and reward.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know how you can force someone to operate at a loss. I don't know if that necessarily. It's a complicated issue.
It is a complicated issue. Maybe someone could have operated at a profit if they were better operators. You could make the case, well, if you're a better operator, you'd be at a profit. Well, maybe not. You don't know.
Yeah.
But the person who bought it never had the intention. And apparently, they thought they had the zoning, but they didn't. But Lennar's planning on building between 1,500 and 1,700 homes in there. And so with them,
Go ahead.
do I have it?
Yep.
Okay. With that, I think it's basically what we've seen is there's more to come. They haven't. They have approved it. I'm not sure we're done yet. I got a feeling there's still more bouncing back with the courts, but it looks like we're finally coming to a resolution. If I'm a homeowner in there now, at this point, some 10 years later, do something.
Yeah.
Because right now it's awful. It's just burnt out open space and looks awful. So put a house, put houses there. It's fine. Landscape it, put parks in, whatever.
Yeah.
It's going to be better. And I actually told people, there were people who were concerned about buying in Queensridge after this happened. And I said, look, you're going to get value now because eventually something's going to happen. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're not going to leave it like that forever. I didn't think it would take 10 years.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing too, actually. This whole topic brings up the concept of value, and it's gonna hurt property values. It's like saying, I'm blanking on the last analogy I heard this, but what drives property values way more is when we were talking about how the presidential election is going to impact.
Right.
It's like what drives values way more than who sits in the White House.
Yeah.
Is the overall fundamental economics of supply and demand that are happening in a local market and in a housing market. Same thing here.
Yeah.
I think, my property values are going to go down. Not necessarily.
Right.
The market is going to drive the supply and demand. Those are beautiful homes in that community.
Yeah.
Amazing location.
Yeah.
And intentional development with energy fixing an eyesore.
Yeah.
I would think you don't necessarily lose property value over that, especially when
Clearly
we're in a supply constrained market overall.
Yeah.